Hello and welcome to the Untranslatable Podcast. We are here recording episode 30, Travel Gear for Different Environments. I am here with my amazing co-host, my good buddy, my dude, Jared. What's going on, Jared?
Hello. We've definitely been in different environments recently.
Without a doubt.
And if you want to see or hear about those environments, follow us on Twitter. Untranslatable1, the number one. Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast, or you can email us. Tell us some stuff, some untranslatable phrases, songs of the pod, why you hate Chad, and why you love me. Just the usual stuff that we tend to get all the time. It's so weird.
Right.
It's good to see you, buddy. It's been a while, Been a while.
Our listeners probably don't know that, but yes, it's very true.
We wouldn't do that to our listeners.
No, we wouldn't. But yeah, it's been what, almost a week, has it? Somewhere around there?
Almost that, yeah. No, it hasn't been a week. Last time almost a week. You're right. Yeah. Which in Jared and Chad time is a long time.
Exactly. I'm sure our listeners can understand that. I'm sure they have some good friends that, if they don't see them or talk to them in a while, feels like a long time. But the nice thing about our friendship, and I think a lot of other friendships that people have, is even if you haven't talked to somebody for a while, when you reconnect with them, it feels like almost no time has passed. You know what I mean?
Right. Yes. I do love that. It's been a while since I've had one of those experiences with someone where it's like, I haven't seen you in a while, but it's just like yesterday kind of situation. Those are always fun. So why haven't we talked to each other in so long?
Well, our listeners could check on our previous episode where we spill the deets, but my good buddy Jared was out hiking. You were in North Carolina, right? If I remember correctly?
Yeah, and a tiny bit of Tennessee, but yes.
Ooh, hiking through 2 states. I like it, man. That's pretty epic.
Yeah. By the way, if you did listen to last episode, I got a lot of things wrong. And there was actually a lot of change in plan on my trip too. But we'll get to that.
Right.
Where were you? What did you do?
So here's the thing. I don't really know what the proper name to call this town that I visited, because in the Czech Republic, we refer to it as Karlovy Vary. In German, it's Carlsbad, and I think in English, they also still might call it Carlsbad.
Okay. Well, then you just called it all three, so there you go.
There we go. So yeah.
How do you say it in Arabic?
No, I have no idea. Couldn't tell you. But I was with my good buddy David, and I should have asked him how they say it in Russian. But no, just kidding. I did ask him, and he said a lot of the Slavic languages, they tend to keep places like names of towns or cities the same, because a lot of Slavic languages are very similar. I'm not saying they're all the same, but they do share a lot of similarities.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Do a lot of them have similar bases? You know what I mean? Like, are based in a similar language? Roots, rather.
Roots. I'm probably not the right person to ask this, because I have not really studied Slavic languages other than the minimal Czech I've studied. But from my understanding of the Czech people I've talked to, at least Czech people can understand a lot of Slovak or Slovakian.
That seems like what makes sense. It used to be one country, not
exactly. But what I find really fascinating is I've also been told by some older Czech people that this generation, who have grown up as, as a Czech citizen where it wasn't Czechoslovakia but the Czech Republic, can't actually understand Slovakian, which I find really interesting. So I don't know if it's because
one can understand other, but the others can't understand.
Well, I wonder, my theory about it is maybe because there's not as much shared media anymore between Slovakia and the Czech Republic, that the younger kids aren't getting as much input in Slovakian. And so to them, they hear it as a completely different language, whereas maybe older Czechs who grew up, when Czechoslovakia was a country, I'm sure there was good mixture of both languages.
By the way, I just want to make a correction. I said 15 years ago. It was 1993. I meant to say 25. It's so crazy to think that 95 is not. So excuse me, 93. I still say 93 like it's 15 years ago, and I was like, oh wait, that's 25 years ago.
You're not the only one, man.
I just made that mistake, and I couldn't leave it.
Right. No, I appreciate it. I agree with you, man. It's like when you see memes online that say something like, 2030 is closer than like 1990 is, and it's like, don't you say that? Like get those words out your mouth. Don't you say that? But I've also been told that some Czechs can understand a lot of Polish, or at least bits and pieces of it. There's also a lot of similarities between those languages. And then Russian, a lot of older Czechs were forced to learn Russian in school, so that's why they can understand Russian.
Okay. Man, that's like a weird puzzle of languages.
Right. And that's why we're here as the Untranslatable Podcast, to give all of our listeners small pieces to that puzzle.
Yes.
But I got a little story to tell you about my weekend that's a little unrelated to travel gear for different travel environments. But as I mentioned in the last episode and briefly in the beginning here, I had a visitor here, a guest in Chomutov, so I got to play one of my favorite roles, which is being a tour guide, right?
Yes, I hate that.
Okay, well, Jared,
I hate that.
To each his own.
I just always feel like I'm not boring the person or something.
Okay. I feel like you'd be a good tour guide, though.
You're like a teacher, though, so like getting a tour from you almost feels like at the end of it, like, I feel like I should pay you or something.
Well, hey, donations are always accepted. Always accepted, for sure. Oh, that's funny. Well, so anyways, the little story I want to tell you is, so I took my buddy David with me to this really, really cool hospoda or pub. That's the Czech word for pub, called Čekarna. And this place is, I'll post some pictures on our Instagram page for when this episode drops, because I took some pictures of this place. And it is literally this tiny little, it almost looks kind of like a hut or a shack that has really cheap beer. I think I paid 29 crowns for a half of a liter. So that's a little bit over $1. That's maybe $1.25, $1.50 per beer.
It's less than that. It's like $1 and some change.
Yep.
Because let's think about this. 33 crowns would be $1.50.
Right.
So it's way less than that. It's like $1.07.
Somewhere around there. So
crazy.
Anyways, yeah. And what's really cool, though, is it's mostly older Czech people. So to me, it has a really authentic Czech feel to it. And there's like only 2 older ladies who are the waitresses. And I don't think they speak much English because they continuously, I've been there twice now, and it's small enough where I think they know my face. Because like when I came in, the lady said something the second time, which I would surmise of like, oh, like nice to see you again, or something like that. I'm
Is
not
there
really
always
sure.
a spot available in this tiny place?
So not really, and that's actually what leads me to this story.
Okay.
So we go to Čekarna, and we go sit down, and we sit down at a big table, and there were like other people at all the other tables around us, and there's like a little outdoor seating area, but it was a little chilly. And so no one was, I think a couple people might have been out there because they were like smoking cigarettes or something. But anyways, this Czech couple came up, and they saw that we had quite a bit of space at our table. And in Czech, they asked us if they could sit there. And I have no idea. I mean, I'm assuming that's what they said. I just pointed at the table and said prosim, which means like please, like go ahead, basically.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And so they sat down and they started talking to us in really fast Czech. And I look at David, and David looks at me. And then eventually I crack a smile and I say, nemluvím česky.
Mluvite anglicky.
I should have said that. But I said, nemluvím česky.
I don't speak Czech.
Exactly. See, you're learning, man. You'll be set for when you come visit.
I could say I don't speak Czech and
Mluvite anglicky,
do
right?
you speak English.
Exactly. And so they sat down, and the husband spoke pretty good English. The wife did not really speak much English, so he was translating back and forth for us. And then we all had a beer together, and then we started just talking about stuff. And then he found out that David speaks Russian, and this guy is probably, I would guess, in his 50s, maybe late 40s. But I mean, he had all gray hair. And so he got super excited and started speaking Russian with my buddy David. And David is kind of like me with German, where whenever he has the opportunity to speak Russian, he uses it, and he's really happy to speak Russian, right?
What's his proficiency?
Oh, dude, I would say he's fluent. I would say his Russian's really good.
Okay.
And so then I'm just like sitting there with the wife, and then somehow like it came out that she's studying Spanish, and I speak enough beginner Spanish to have a very basic conversation. So we had literally 4 languages going on at our table. We had Czech at one point, we had Russian, we had English, and we had Spanish. So that was really cool.
Polyglot dream come true right here.
Right? It was crazy. It was such a cool time. And then before they left, I goofed. I should have taken pictures of these shots. So in the Czech Republic, they have these special kind of shots. They're called zelena, which is the Czech word for green. And I think it's basically just like a green peppermint schnapps, but it's really good. And so the guy we were talking to ordered 3 of them, one for me, one for David, and one for him. His wife was driving, so she only had like a small beer, because in the Czech Republic, they have really a no tolerance rule with drinking and driving, which I think is good. So we had those shots, and then they said goodbye. And then David and I went on to a couple other places in Chomutov later that night. But I just thought, wow, what an amazing way to start our evening. You know?
Yeah, that is awesome. That is awesome. I mean, that. I was joking when I said a polyglot dream come true, but that's really cool.
And it for me, it just kind of reinforced the idea of how much knowing even a little bit of a language can connect to you.
Yes.
Because my rudimentary Spanish and her rudimentary Spanish.
What did you guys talk about?
We talked about, what did we talk about? Well, she told me why she was studying Spanish. She said she has a friend who's from Mexico. I told her, that I think Spanish is a really pretty language. I have a friend who lives in Chile. Shout out to my buddy Robert. And then she asked me, if I prefer beer or wine. I told her I'm more of a beer guy, but I enjoy white wine sometimes. And then she actually invited me to the little Vinotech here in Chomutov as well.
Oh my
so
gosh.
I'll have to improve my Spanish more so we can still communicate, or my Czech, obviously.
Yeah, let's say, or you could just work on the Czech while you're there.
Right.
That's crazy.
Exactly. Yeah, it was awesome, dude. It was
Chad's
really
making
great.
friends, everyone.
And then what also was really striking to me was when we went to Karlovy Vary, there's a lot of German tourists there and also a lot of Russian tourists. I would say in the Czech Republic, Karlovy Vary is probably one of the most populated places with Russians. A lot of them have houses
really?
there.
Huh.
Yeah, and it's a very famous spa town. For all of our listeners out there, check out our Instagram page. I have posted some pictures from Karlovy Vary. And it was really great, but we can talk more about this when we get more into the main segment. But also, if you are into learning Russian, German, Czech, and an English speaker, please check out Karlovy Vary. It's a great place. Do you have any other? Dude, it's only an hour train ride from where I'm living, so it's a very easy way to go there. You got anything else though you want to share with our listeners, Jared? At the top of the show.
Yeah, well, hold on. Yeah, but did you guys also go to a hockey game?
We did, and it was rough, dude. It was rough. My team, I'm still a diehard fan, man. Win or lose, I stand by my Pirati. We lost the dude 2-9.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was rough.
The no mercy rule on this.
It was rough. Clearly not. No, dude. Hockey is a game where there's no mercy.
No mercy. Oh my gosh, that is rough.
And what adds even more insult to injury?
They
is
ran out of
I've actually-
sausage.
No, they didn't.
Okay.
They didn't. That would have really added some serious insult to injury for sure. What would have been even worse though is no beer and no sausage.
Oh my gosh. I
I'm
think
sorry,
there would be
at that
full
point,
on
I'm gonna have
riots.
to be going home. Right. The Czechs are peaceful people until they run out of beer and sausage at their hockey matches, their hockey games, for sure. But what adds insult to injury is I've actually befriended a player on the team who's Canadian,
How'd
and
that
unfortunately, it's basically a teacher from my school has
Oh.
connections with the team, reached out to the team. I would say him and I are the only two North Americans living in Chomutov. So it was pretty easy to bond over that. He's a great guy, really nice. He's from the Toronto area in Canada. Super friendly. And he also gave me a lot of really great tips of what to do in Chomutov. And he knows what it's like to move here and adjust and to be one of the few or only North Americans. So that was really nice. But we sat by him during the game. And so, I can't even imagine.
Did he get you seats? Tickets?
No, I had my own tickets.
I don't know if you guys
but,
were like best friends to your.
But I really like the guy, most definitely. But the thing is, they don't really police the seats very strictly at the games because the games sadly usually aren't sold out. So usually, you can just kind of go sit anywhere. I know the last couple games I've been to, my seat was like a couple seats over, I believe, but I sat with the guy that I went to the game with, and there were no problems. So, and there's enough open seats where people could really just be like seriously, like you're really complaining about the seat when there's
you could
four
actually
seats right here?
move and be in a better seat than all of us.
Exactly. But I just can't even imagine how my friend felt because he's injured right now and he can't play, and watching your team lose like that from the stands just really sucks, you know?
Yeah, it's painful. It's painful. Yeah, I've been in a situation like that, not because of an injury, but just because you're on the bench for whatever reason, and you just
Right.
watch your team lose. And there's always that part, especially if you're a good player, which I was. I played soccer. There's always that part of you where it's like, man, I got to think that if I were out there, this wouldn't be happening. Like I feel like I could have done something here to make this not as terrible as it was.
Oh, for sure.
And that's probably not the case, but that is always like the sense that I'm sure he has, and I've had that feeling before.
Right, definitely. Well, Jared, can you tell us a little bit about your weekend before getting completely into our main segment?
Sure. Yeah. I went to North Carolina. My buddy Brad, the silent podcast annoyer, just moved to North Carolina, and so we decided to go on a camping trip and disregard everything from episode 29 and listen to me now. This is episode 30. I'm back. It's already happened. And now I'm going to tell you the truth of how it went. And I say that not because I lied about something that I didn't, but more because I misunderstood how the trip was going to go. And we had to slight change of plans for lack of planning, essentially. But anyway, First of all, let me start by saying I got to the airport. My flight was actually delayed. I said I was taking the flight that night. It was delayed, and I changed it to the next morning, which was fine. It didn't really make that big of a difference. But so my flight left, except for the fact that I had to wake up at freaking 4 a.m.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah. Especially since I camped later that day. Not camp. Yeah. Oh, hike, excuse me. And camp too. But anyway. So I took a picture and I sent it to Chad. And I was walking up to the gate as they were boarding the elite first class members. And I told Chad, I said, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. And I was like, perfect timing. I was zone 2. I had to wait for literally like 3 minutes to get on the plane. It was great. Anyway, so I got to the airport in Charlotte, and we drove to a place called Crabtree Falls, and it was the first place that we hiked, and it was about a 6-mile round trip hike. And and so that was to this cool waterfall. And we hung out at this waterfall for a bit, and there's pictures. You'll see pictures, everyone. Or you probably already have now that I think about it. So we did that, and it was a 6-mile round trip, and it was nice. I mean, it was a nice hike. North Carolina's gorgeous. And then from there, we camped out in this. I don't remember what the name of the forest was. Oh, I remember it was off of the Blue Ridge Parkway. I remember that.
Okay.
We camped out there, and we could not make a fire because it rained all night long. And we had a tarp for our tent, but by about 2 a.m, the tarp started giving out a little bit, and it wasn't pouring on us, but we got some drips on us. But it wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible. I will say that. The only thing that was terrible is I had a dream, and I guess we'd call it a nightmare. And it involved me seeing a guy, or me hearing noises outside and hearing someone rustle with the tent and then opening the tent. And obviously, Freddy Krueger looking mask and not Freddy Krueger, excuse me, Jason looking mask, like one of those hockey, like old hockey mask and like an axe in his hand. And that scared me awake. And then Brad woke up a little bit after that. And I told him that I've been awake for a while because I had a dream about a guy murdering me. And then Brad told me about a dream he had that was also about us getting murdered. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
But it was way more elaborate and way more detailed. I was like, all right, well, thanks. Now I'm even more terrified. But anyway, so that was fine. Then so the next morning we got up and we drove to in Richtung Asheville, as they'd say in Germany, in the direction of Asheville.
Uh-huh.
We drove to a waterfall called Linville Falls, and that one was 4 miles round trip ish, 4 or 5 miles round trip, and so we did that, and that was about maybe an hour. I don't know, what would 4 miles? Maybe something like that, maybe a little less than an hour, and that was nice. And then from there, we drove to Asheville. And we got to Asheville, say, around 11. And we had breakfast there at Sunny Point Cafe. Shit was bananas. Maybe I'll post a picture of that. I had chicken and waffle sandwich, so the waffle was sandwich form. And then there was fried chicken in the middle. And they had this caramelized bacon that was next level. It tasted like they sprinkled crack on this bacon. It was that good.
Where did you go? Just like a small diner, or?
I guess it was small. There was like an outdoor section that was maybe 6 tables, and then on the inside there was maybe another. 6 seems like a low number. It was medium sized. I'd say it's medium to small sized. Brad and I actually sat at a little like a bar section, but it was only like a bar of like 4. Mm-hmm. And we actually had to wait for 45 minutes, but it wasn't that bad because they have like an outdoor section that had like benches, and they were and they had like a coffee machine out there, so you could just get coffee all you wanted. So we just sat out there
yourself.
And we did go out there and we got coffee. And we sat and we started talking to these people that were next to us. I don't, the guy, hold on one second. I'm reading notes. I need to turn on a lamp. I can't. It's getting, okay. So, we did actually run into, and we started talking to them. And they were asking us, where are you from? Oh, and it's like all that bullshit.
Your favorite, good old small talk. Maybe you need to go back and re-listen to our episode, Jared, about small talk.
It's not as bad when there's other people, when I can, pawn it off on other people. Usually I tend to pawn off small talk on the person I'm with. And I'll talk if I talked. It wasn't like I wasn't saying anything, but I do have a habit of pawning off small talk on the person I'm with. So they were telling them that we're going camping in the Smoky Robin National Forest to Mount LeConte, and they said, "Ooh, by the way, when we were leaving Crabtree Falls, I saw a bear."
Oh no! Okay.
But we were in the car.
Okay.
And it was just running on the side of the road. And while we were at the breakfast place waiting to be seated and talking to these people, they mentioned that there were a lot of bears. And they mentioned that you can sometimes see them but they're so used to the people that they see people and then they like go to hide until the people pass. And
that's good.
At that point, though, our plan, they're only black bears, which is not to say they can't just murder you, but black bears are not as aggressive as, say, like a,
grizzly?
Like a grizzly or a brown bear or something like that.
Or a polar bear, dude. Polar bears
polar bears are the
your
worst.
Day up.
Those are the worst. Mm-hmm. They have but they also have no access to food, so anything that is meat, they'll destroy it. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
So they mentioned, and so initially Brad and I's plan was to hike hike part of. So the LeConte hike was 11 miles round trip. It was maybe 11 to 12. It was in between there, and it was so 5.6 or 7 up and then back down, and so. Our plan was to hike part of it and then camp along the trail. First thing that made us think that was a bad idea, all this bear talk.
Okay.
That was the first thing that made us, because they're like, there are bears all over the place. And then another thing that made us second guess it was that when we got to the Smokey Robinson National Forest, there was a sign for a missing person. But that's, anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself.
That's neither here nor there.
After breakfast, which was delicious, we went to a brewery, and then we went to, it was called Wicked Weed Brewery. We had a beer there, and then we went to, there's a New Belgium location in Asheville. Oh, so we went to like the state-of-the-art looking place that had and we had a beer. And then, so around, we had, and I cannot make this clear enough. We did not do just about any preparation other than knowing the places we wanted to go to. So as far as where we were going to camp, no preparation was done. The first place we camped at was a campsite that we just, when we finished hiking Crabtree Falls, we just Googled campsite and we found it. Technically, it was $10. We didn't pay. But there was like almost no one there. The second night, we got to Smokey Robinson. I keep doing that. This is not the first time I've done that. We got to the Smoky Mountain. We got to the Smoky Mountain National Forest, and it was around 6 something, and we had almost no signal. So we were struggling to find a campsite with no signal, and we kind of had already gotten the impression that 1, you need a permit to hike along the trail. 2, there are a lot of bears. 3, there are specific cabins, so you're not sleeping outside, but they're at the very top. Mm-hmm. But at that point, it was already like almost 7, and it's like we can't start now. Like we haven't eaten any. Like it was just so many logistical things. It's like we don't even know, and so and it's like we don't even know if there's going to be space up there. Like you can't just go up there and get it, and you couldn't rent a space the day of, so we couldn't even go up there if we wanted to. And so, luckily, we happened to find a ranger that showed us where a campsite was. That was about actually, this ranger, by the way, was looking for that missing person I mentioned. And he told us about a campsite that was like 10, 15 minutes down the road. Mm-hmm. And so we got to that campsite. Literally as the ranger that worked there was putting up the sign for the like reservations and leaving. Mm-hmm. And so we're like, excuse me, is there a empty campsite? And there was. So what we decided to do was, what we were going to do is camp out that night and wake up at as early as we can, and I'll get to that, and go to the top and see the sunrise. And so luckily, the thing about the second night of camping is that was a much more populated campsite. So what I did to quell my and Brad's anxiety about getting murdered is that, first of all, if like just statistically speaking, it's very unlikely that we'd be the first ones to get attacked or murdered, and we'd hear screaming, and then our plan is just run to the car because it's right there.
There you go.
And so I slept like a freaking baby.
Nice.
And then we woke up at 4 a.m. and we had already planned the night before exactly what we were going to do the next morning. We had all of our bags prepared, and we had all of our clothes ready to go. And we just woke up at 4 a.m, broke down the campsite, efficient as fuck. I felt like a goddamn Marine.
Nice.
And got to the beginning of the hike at 4:45 a.m., pitch black outside, and we started going. And we hiked this thing up. We hiked up in the complete darkness until about like the final maybe point. No, it was actually might have been dark all the way to the top. Until the final 0.2 miles, we were in the dark on this 5.5 mile hike up a mountain. And we got to the top right before sunrise. We knew we checked before, and sunrise was at 7:27, and we watched sunrise from the top of this mountain. And it was awesome, and it was. And then we sat just on the top of the mountain, and chilled out for a bit, and then we went back down, and it took us about 2.5 hours to get up, and it took us then about I'm trying to think, an hour and 50 minutes to get down.
Okay, that's not too bad.
According to the website, they said it's supposed to take 3 to 4 hours. Brad and I were
booking it.
In the prime of our life. We're young, virile, single, in shape men living the fast-paced lifestyle in big cities.
What do they say in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? This is the body at its peak performance.
Oh yeah, my body's operating at like a peak, something like that. That was when they hadn't had like shit in days.
Right, right.
He's like, I was like, that's because our bodies are running a maximum. My body's running a maximum efficiency. It's using every calorie that it takes in. Anyway, so it was great. And then on the way back down, it was amazing. And this was actually once again, not really planned because we weren't even planning on hiking this way. But this was a great way to do it because on the way down, we got to see, that's when we were seeing everything that we didn't see anything on the way up except for, what our headlamp showed and our flashlight showed a couple feet in front of us. Mm-hmm. And it looked like we were walking through, the behind Hogwarts on the way down. It was awesome.
Oh, that's sweet.
It was so green, and there was, it was just amazing. And then I'm glad we also started so early. One, because it was kind of stupid. And I like doing stupid stuff like that. But also,
right.
On the way down, just the lower and lower you got, the more and more congested it got, the more and more people. I mean, it's a very popular spot.
Right.
So I thought I liked that we got the chance to do it completely on our own and not, saying morning every 30 seconds as you walk past someone. A lot of mornings. I mean, we're in the South.
Right.
The Southerners are. And I say some Tennessee because I believe the actual peak is in Tennessee. But the park goes through Tennessee and North Carolina.
Gotcha.
So we might have started in North Carolina, but just the way it works, the peak is in Tennessee or something like that.
Gotcha.
And then from there, we hiked back down, and then we drove to Charlotte. I fell asleep, and Brad drove by himself. I passed out. And when we got to Charlotte, we met up with, Josh Van Lan.
Oh, nice.
And we went out on the town in Charlotte, and I got way too drunk, and then I went home the next day.
There you go. Sounds like a great trip. I gotta say though, man, in my mind I had a completely different like thought or vision of what your trip was. I thought you guys would be roughing it in the sticks for 4 or 5 days straight. Going on this.
Oh no, we weren't going to do that many days straight. The longest we would have done the craziest thing we would have done if we would have prepared a little bit more would have been camping along the trail.
Gotcha.
But that would have only been a night because we did we did 3 the 6 we did the first 7 or 6 for 6 miles, 4 miles, and then we did 11, 12. Mm-hmm. And we camped 2 days in a row. I did camp 2 days in a row. And so I didn't shower for essentially 3 days. And I did go to Asheville having camped the night before and not showered. And then I did go to
Charlotte?
no. Before I went to Charlotte, the next day we had breakfast outside of where we camped, and that at that point I hadn't showered in 3 days.
How'd that feel, Jared?
Felt good, and I actually don't think I smelled that bad. I think it gets to a point where I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I smelled that bad. And I mean, that's coming from me. What do I know? I could have smelled terrible, but I felt like it wasn't that bad.
I feel like a lot of it has to do with, like, obviously how sweaty you were, right? Was it pretty hot down there?
No, but I was very sweaty.
Okay.
Especially when it rained. Because when it rained, it was in like the 70s, so it wasn't that. It was maybe mid 70s, so it wasn't that hot. It was probably high 70s. It wasn't that hot. However, no, it was probably mid low 70s. It wasn't that hot. However, the rain jacket is not a good jacket for when it's it's a good jacket for repelling water, but it keeps heat in very effectively.
Oh, definitely. It's not very breathable by design.
Yeah,
I feel like.
Right, and that's what I was telling Brad. I was like, they need to make a breathable rain jacket. And he's like, I think that's an oxymoron. I don't think that's possible.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know how you do it. But then again, I'm just a language teacher. I'm not a rain jacket engineer. So what can I say?
I'm trying to see. Let me see if I missed anything. One thing I will say is I've realized I am the master of the Irish goodbyes. I pulled another one while we were out in Charlotte.
Can you explain to our audience what that term means?
The Irish goodbye is when you're out at a bar or out with your friends. Usually it involves, when you're drinking or something, and you just leave without telling anyone. and I believe I did that once again. My entire body was sore when I got home, but I kind of like that feeling. Because it's not, it feels like you did something. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely,
like
it's a good feeling. Something. Absolutely, yeah. I agree.
It's like after a good workout or something, which it was a good workout.
Oh, I'm sure it was, and plus, that's a type of workout where it's not just a workout. You're getting to experience a lot of really cool, like, new things. I really enjoy hiking in nature and everything like that, and I totally see where you're coming from. Go ahead.
Oh, one thing that I also very much enjoyed was having no phone and no signal. Like, so when along any of the camping trips, we essentially and driving through a lot of the signal was very scarce, and it was freeing. It was freeing, and I still looked at my phone. It's like, oh yeah, I don't have signal.
Right.
There's nothing to look at here. But also, the good thing about camping too is camping is great for it's great for conversation because there's I feel like there's always great conversation when you camp because there's nothing else to do.
Right.
All camping usually involves is sitting around a fire and drinking.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it comes with the territory.
And there's nothing to distract you.
Right. And it feels good. I agree with you. It feels really good to be unplugged.
Yes.
I have to say, though, man, I was super surprised when I saw your text messages and I saw you posting on our Instagram. Because like I said, I thought you were just going to be out in the sticks for like days straight, roughing it in the wild Bear Grylls style. So,
not for days straight.
Right.
No. Only 2 days of camping. But we did also drive from one campsite to another.
Right.
Because we went to a different, a couple hours away.
Right. Makes sense.
But yeah, no, it was cool. It was cool. And I hope everyone likes the pictures because there were some gorgeous pictures. It literally looked like I was walking through an enchanted forest.
Do the pictures do it justice, though?
I mean, the pictures never do. They never do. I mean, because the pictures don't. You don't feel the air. You don't see like I can't really show like the moisture, like how moisture was in the air. I'm not gonna be one of those people that's taking close-up pictures of leaves. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, you also didn't have your Nikon 3 whatever
3 SLR XS.
Right.
No,
right. Zooming in on the dew on the blades of grass or something. Yeah, I feel you. Well, Jared,
no, it's never gonna capture the true beauty and glory.
Without a doubt.
Sorry.
Without no, I agree. I agree with you. So Obviously you didn't bring a fancy camera with you. I want to move on to our segment because I think this is just a good segue. Is there any gear for your environment that you wish you would have brought?
That I wish I would have brought.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Can I start a little differently? Then maybe I can, because that's tough. I got to think about that.
All right.
That I wish I would have brought.
Not gonna lie. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I have something.
Okay.
I have something. I just needed a minute to think about it. That's really what I needed. Pants wise, you know what I need? And Brad had a great pair of pants that were. I wore like loose khakis that were great.
Okay.
But
Was he rocking the zip offs?
yes.
Oh, nice. Good call.
I don't know. Wait, no, I don't know if they were zip offs, but it was the material. It was that wicking material. Like it wasn't full on like.
Oh, those are good. Right.
But it was like that material where like his pants were less. My pants were very prone to water. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so like even though I had a rain jacket that was great, and I had a waterproof backpack, my pants, mm-hmm. And so that was a huge problem. Not a huge problem, but it was something, an overlook.
Oh, for sure. Definitely a little frustrating.
Yes. My hiking boots were I never had any problem with the hiking boots.
Nice.
I'll say that.
Nice. That's a blessing.
Something else I wish I had. I wish I would have prepared a little better on the snacks. I kind of left it all up to Brad, and I wish not that I ever went starving, but I would have. I think I would have. I think we. I don't know. I think we could have done a little better.
What snacks did y'all have?
We had jerky, but we ran out of that pretty quickly. We had
for good reason. I mean, that's pretty tasty.
We had trail mix. We had apples and bananas that we forgot about when we got to Brad, because he's the one that bought them. I'm just gonna throw Brad under the bus now. No, I'm kidding.
Poor Brad.
That we forgot about,
Mm-hmm.
which I wish I hadn't forgot about, because that would and then we had banana chips, and then we had goldfish that never got opened until we got to Charlotte, and then we had granola bars and like trail mix bars.
Nice.
And bars and stuff.
So no steaks on an open fire, huh?
No, we only got one open fire because of the freaking rain.
Oh, that's right. Good call.
I'll tell you. Can I say what I did get? And is
absolutely
now my new. So I have a new go-to travel backpack. This backpack was the backpack I used for hiking and camping and stuff, but it's great. And I'll tell you what really makes it great. I mean, there's one thing. Well, I'll say this: two things actually that really make it a standout backpack.
Can I guess the two?
Yes, but I don't think you're gonna get it.
Okay,
but yes,
I think the first one is that it's waterproof.
That is one of them, but that's not us. Actually, the two things, by the way, it's one thing really.
Okay. Are there like a lot of like good compartments to organize things with?
I wish I could give you a half ham horn on that, because it's not that there are a lot of good compartments. There's one very. There's two different, but it's one thing. I'll explain it.
Okay.
There's one very specific compartment that is what I'm going to call a game changer.
Okay.
So it's a hiking camping backpack. So it has like the strap, the
chest strap. Yep.
And around the waist as well. Mm-hmm. On the waist strap on this one, it has a almost fanny pack style
ooh, all right.
sort of little compartment. So what I did was I had my wallet on one side and I had my phone on the other side.
That's smart.
And then it was great too for the hike down, because I had my phone right there, and we had music going on the hikes.
Nice.
And I could just control the volume, like if we were about to walk by someone, I just turned it down from the outside.
What tunes were y'all playing?
I actually played some Hiatus Coyote.
Nice.
I played some. What did I play?
You didn't play any of that Mambu Fasu. What's that one called that we did?
I did not. I did not play that. I don't have it on my. I don't have that on my.
There we go. Yeah, there we go.
I don't have that on my phone. I played some. What else? Oh, a lot of Childish Gambino. Brad and I like Childish Gambino.
Uh-huh.
Some Charles Bradley, Anderson .Paak, always a good one. Some Bobby Fino, Arian Foster. Some J. Cole.
Oh, nice.
There was a good mix.
Also, can I just interject and say that we need to trademark the Game Changer. We need to trademark that name for a backpack compartment. That's a sweet name.
The Game Changer.
Yeah, the Game Changer. That could even be the name of the pack itself. But yeah,
it was great because it was fanny pack style, but it's clipped to you, and it is just so convenient, and it's also great for the airport too. It's not just great for camping because for the same exact reason, and it's also great because less reliance on the storage bin. So I also, when I was going through TSA, I also put my watch in there. And my wallet, as I said, and it was just it's also great for the airport. I like it for that too. So that's what I'm going to call a game changer, a piece of luggage right there. I did not get the Osprey. Even Brad told me I should get the Osprey.
Really? Did he have one?
No, he just heard you say it one time.
Oh, nice! Shout out to Brad.
So why don't you get that backpack? Why don't you get that backpack Chad told you to get? It's like, I'll get what I want to get.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call the one that I bought a great hiking backpack.
Right.
I would say it's a great carry-on for an airplane, but
mine is more of a hiking backpack than it is a travel backpack. But I think it's easier to have a hiking backpack double as a travel backpack rather than a travel backpack double as a hiking
100%.
backpack.
Absolutely. So Jared, if any of our listeners are interested in going on a similar type of trip, are there any other things you would suggest for them to really maximize their enjoyment for their trip?
Wireless speakers, I would say.
Okay.
I did not bring any. And I'm mad I didn't, even though luckily Brad did.
Nice.
But there was a part of me where it's like, I'm not going to need them. That's what I would have said. That is wireless speakers. It's because, I didn't need them because Brad had some. But if Brad hadn't brought some, I would have been really pissed on myself for not bringing them. Because it's not like I forgot them. I looked at them and I was like, I'm not going to need them.
Right.
And then as soon as I got to the campsite, I was like, shit. And Brad's like, hey, I got some wireless speakers in the car. I was like, oh, God, thank you.
Yeah, I bought a little one that's it's like the size, little bit bigger than maybe the size of a hockey
This is
puck.
mine.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And what would you say this is the size of?
I don't know.
Maybe like the size of a pencil case or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
definitely.
Brad's was even smaller. His was like the size of it was smaller and round.
Was it a JBL?
No.
Okay, because that's
I don't think so. I don't know, but
Okay.
I don't think it was.
Yeah, I think I would have to agree with you. I tend to take a wireless speaker with me almost everywhere I go, for a multitude of reasons. But yeah, what else would you suggest to our listeners out there?
You know why I don't take the wireless speaker wherever I go is because it often causes my bag to have to get searched. And when I'm going, and so now I just take it out. And I don't even leave it in my backpack, but it got to a point where it had so regularly caused my bag to get searched that I just took it out to avoid that. And people will be like, "You don't have to take it out." And it's like the last 8 times I've been to the airport, you guys have searched my bag just for that.
Right.
So I'm gonna just take it out.
Right. I don't blame you. I don't blame you, man.
And so that's why I tend to not bring it because it's just like I don't want to deal with it. When I travel, I am all about efficiency. I fucking hate the airport. I hate going to the airport. I hate waiting in lines. I hate standing around. That's why I try my hardest to get to my gate as they're starting to board.
Efficiency is definitely key.
I hate the airport. So I am never going to travel. Well, not never is a bold word. I don't travel with a neck pillow, for one. I don't understand how people do that. I don't. And I also, as much as possible, I like to use duffel bags. And what I like about duffel bags is it's less likely for a duffel bag to have to be checked. And a duffel bag is you can like squish it into overhead compartments. Because I always get anxious about overhead compartments whenever I'm like, if I'm say like zone 13, you know, I'm like it was fine now because I was zone 2, so it wasn't actually that bad. But like I've been worse zones than that plenty of times, and it's like you're like looking at people getting on. It's like, oh, that person's got a pretty big bag, And it's like, I hope there's space for my roller up there. And I don't ever want that to happen because I'm like, I don't want to go to baggage claim. And another thing I do is I do not travel with any liquids. I don't bring toothpaste. I just steal whoever's toothpaste I'm with.
There you go. Can I just say I like that you said steal because I hate it when people say borrow because it's not like you're gonna put the toothpaste back in the damn tube. So good call. Good call.
Yeah, so I'll steal toothpaste and I'll use shitty hotel lotion. It's just all about efficiency for me. That's it.
Oh, I don't blame you.
I fell asleep on the plane ride back, which almost never happens, but I was, obviously exhausted. And it was I had to almost have to wake myself up because it's like every time you nod off for 5 minutes, your neck starts hurting. But I still wouldn't change that for just so I could have
the neck pillow.
Yeah. Are you a neck pillow guy?
I've never owned one.
Yeah. What about the eye mask? Would you use an eye mask on even like an international flight?
Never owned one. No to either of them.
I don't really understand the eye mask either. I can fall asleep and light doesn't really affect my sleeping abilities that much.
Me either. With me too, if I try and I've actually never tried a neck pillow. I'm a little afraid to try it because then what if I really like it? Then I'm gonna have to carry a neck pillow.
And speaking of not wanting to look like a tourist, I always feel like the neck pillow is the tourist.
Oh, 100%. Sweatpants, some slides, and a neck pillow.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
Shoes is a very important part of going through security as well. As far as gear goes, I one of my favorite shoes that I have right now are Converse All Stars, but I almost never wear those through the airport because they take time. You have to untie them, and to put them on and off, you have to actually loosen them up, like halfway down,
right,
and then slide them onto your feet, and then tighten up each string,
right.
And so I would always, but the good thing about Converse is they're easy to pack because you can flatten them.
Oh, for sure, and they're not too heavy either. They're fairly light.
Right.
I have to say, man, I agree 100%. Like my shoes in the airport. I wore a pair of Jordans. I think they're like Air Jordan First Class or something like that. And I have them so I can just slip them on and off. They have like a little.
Me too.
They have like a little strap, little hook, or loop. I guess would be a better word for it, like a loop right on the tongue. So I can just grab that loop and kind of pull the tongue forward and just slip my foot right in. So yeah, I agree with you.
However, this time, on the way. Let me say on the way there, this time was a little different though because I did bring the Converse, but I brought the hiking boots. Obviously, on the way there, I wore the hiking boots, because I was still in break-in mode.
Right.
And on the way back, I wore the Converse because I wasn't going to wear the hiking boots again. I was like, I don't want to wear these hiking boots.
Right.
So that wasn't ideal, but I've gotten pretty good at doing it quickly.
Although I'm sure the hiking boots...
But it wouldn't be my...
I'm sure the hiking boots definitely made you look super outdoorsy in the airport.
Those were quick or easy to slide on and off. But they do take some time because you kind of have to do the loop, on those metal rings that they usually have on the top of hiking boots.
Yeah.
But they are easy to slide on and off, so that's good. So yeah, don't pack liquids. Just got a new travel backpack with perfect strategic pockets. It's my official. Oh, already said that.
That's
good
all
headphones.
right. That's a good recap. Okay, so what headphones would you recommend?
This is a very revealing episode about me. It's never good things either. I fucking hate when people talk to me at the airport. I was in line at the airport going there, and the dude in front of the TSA agent talked to the dude in front of me. He's like, "Where are you headed?" And I was like, and I did not have headphones on at the time, and that's rare. I was like, please do not ask me where I'm going, Mr. TSA agent. So usually what I do is I bring two pairs of headphones. I have my iPhone headphones, which are just, your cheap in-ear headphones. And I wear those up until I get to security, and I'll take them off right before I get to security. I'll take them off and throw them in my backpack. And then on the other side, when I get to the other side of security, I whip out these headphones, which for the listeners, I'm pointing to my Dr. Dre headphones.
Your Beats.
And yes, and those are what I then have on for the entirety of my time until I get into someone's car or to my home or hotel or whatever.
Right.
But like, I think a good over-the-ear headphone is key. And
100%.
Let me clarify.
100%.
Good over-the-head earphones are not like they do not have to be expensive. Like they're not. It's not some sort of crazy investment. You could get some for $40, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure too.
And it's not even for someone like me who's trying the hardest to make sure no one tries to strike up conversation with me. And it actually worked because the guy who sat in, I sat in the aisle seat on the way back, and the guy that sat next to me started trying to strike up conversation with the other guy, and I was just sitting there head straight forward with my stuff on full blast. But it's not even that, but it's more because even like when I go on long flights, and I'm not necessarily wanting, like, say I want to sleep or something, I still kind of like that. I still kind of like to even have the headphones on, even if it's on low, just because it drowns out that hum of the engines of the background.
Oh, definitely. And, I agree, man.
And so, yeah, I'm going to say that's another one. Headphones are a must, but I'm the extreme where but I think it just makes sense to have a good pair of headphones.
Oh yeah, I mean, I traveled here to the Czech Republic actually with, I kid you not, 4 pairs of Apple earbuds.
Oh hell yeah!
Just because I figured,
I like how you roll.
Right, I figured they might either get lost or broken, or I might leave them in a pair of my like pant pockets and wash them. Although I've had a lot of them survive the wash machine somehow.
Me too. I have a pair of work headphones. I have a pair of backpack headphones, which I keep forgetting to put back in my backpack because they were in my other travel backpack, and now I need them in my normal backpack. And I have these Beats headphones.
Right.
And I've been needing to get another pair of the small ones, because I like to have them everywhere too, like they're chapstick or something.
Exactly. I now have a pair at my desk in my office. I have a pair in my bedroom.
I did have another pair. I had a car pair. Those got stolen with my out of my car. I forgot about that. Those got stolen too. Go.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with you. And yeah, I mean, I also have a pair of Beats over-the-ear headphones. I love them. I got them as like an add-on deal for free when I ordered my MacBook.
Oh, nice. Oh, so and the Beats headphones are good ones.
Yeah.
Too,
they're I mean, I think they're about $200 headphones. But I've heard that they only cost about $14 to $20 to manufacture. So.
Yeah, but I mean that's most things.
Right, for sure.
You're talking about your Jordans.
Well, I got those on sale. You know me, Jared. I'm a bargain shopper. But that's
they still probably cost $5.
Oh,
to
right,
make.
for sure, without a doubt. Yeah, those places are still making a profit off of whatever they sell, no doubt.
What do you think of the 4-wheeler roller suitcase?
I'm a backpack and duffel guy, just like you.
Because there are situations where I do have to use a roller, because my duffel bag is big enough for up to like a 4 or 5 day trip. And this trip was kind of easier because it was camping. So I had like one pair of clothes, or like one pair of pants that I was actually going to wear out of the house, out like to Charlotte, and then everything else is like camping, like a couple shirts and underwear and stuff. So that was easy. But if it is a long trip, and I do have a roller suitcase, and it's not a 4-wheeler, it's a 2-wheeler. And whenever I see people navigate those 4-wheelers, I'm always like, oh, that's smart. I like that. Right up until they try to stick it into the overhead compartment and those 4 wheels get in the way.
Right.
We're going to have to check that for you. And I'm like, see?
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think with a 4-wheel suitcase, they do look super convenient in terms of, like
maneuverability and
100%, but
ergonomics.
Yeah, definitely, but those tight spaces are not going to be good for one of those 4-wheeled suitcases. I mean, I think honestly, if I had to take a pick, I would use a 4-wheeled suitcase if I knew I was checking a bag.
Right.
That's when I think I would bust out the 4-wheel suitcase. Is there any other gear that you use when you travel to, like Like, what if, okay, so this was more of like obviously camping, more of a nature trip. What if you were going to like more of a city for a week or something like that, or maybe a couple, like, there's been a few times, and I'm sure there will be more while I'm here in the Czech Republic, where I may have 4 or 5 days off, and I might go see 2 or 3 different cities. So if you were in my shoes, Jared, what kind of gear would you be bringing with you?
Gear as in clothes, do you mean?
Clothes, any other stuff too, accessories, whatever.
I really do try my hardest to pack as simply as possible. Mm-hmm. So like, I might, especially if I'm not taking an airplane, I'll bring the speakers. But it's really my goal is to keep it as simple as possible. What is like some gear for you?
So, well, it depends where I'm going. If it's I also have to preface this. If it's a solo trip versus if I'm going with other people, that will influence the gear I bring. So, for example, if I'm going with friends, I'm definitely going to bring my little Bluetooth speaker. Mm-hmm. I'm probably going to use my Osprey backpack.
The party started.
Exactly. You gotta get the party started without a doubt. And then other than the Bluetooth speaker, I usually try to bring 1 to 2 pairs of pants. If we're talking like a 4 or 5 day trip, maybe 3 depending on how much room I have.
How many shoes would you bring?
Usually 1 pair, maybe 2 if I think we're gonna go like clubbing or go somewhere where it's more formal.
I almost always bring 2 pairs of shoes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes I don't even wear another pair, but I feel like I also recently I've gone to a lot of places that involve a lot of walking. Mm-hmm. But it's like I don't know if I want to necessarily wear this when we like go out, like wear these shoes when we go out to a nice dinner or like go out to some nice bar or something. But I also can't, like, for example, if I were to bring my Converse or something, you can't. Converse are terrible shoes if you're trying to like walk for an extended period of time. Oh,
there is no doubt,
no level of support.
No doubt, yeah.
You get the most I get out of Converse is like an hour and a half to 2 hours tops of walking.
So for me, I usually bring that pair of shoes, and right now it's been my Jordans to walk everywhere. I've worn those to clubs, to bars. Obviously, they're not ideal to like a nice restaurant. But if I'm just bringing the bare minimum, I don't feel as bad about it since they are like all black.
Right.
And there's no like flashy logos or anything on them, which I planned that on purpose. But like I said,
my go-to shoe for that in that situation would be the Samba.
Oh, dude, yes. Those Sambas, I think, are some of the best shoes. I have a pair with me here in the Czech Republic. They're some of the best shoes in terms of versatility. You can wear them like if it's like something casual. I wear them when I go to the gym.
And they're super durable.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
super durable.
I mean, the last pair
I have a pair that I've had. Oh, go ahead.
The last pair I had lasted over 4. Really, they would have lasted longer than 4 years, but they're just a little too small, a little too tight. But how long have your Sambas lasted?
Well, I've had them for probably about that long, and they're about done. I think I'm done with them, but it's not because they still look great, but it's just because the sole is essentially worn out, and so they kind of are starting to hurt my feet.
Right.
And so I think it's just I've just exhausted their use. Mm-hmm. But like looks wise, and if I didn't walk as much as I did, they still look fine, and there's nothing wrong with them.
Right.
But they just hurt my feet now.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But in general, I can walk in Sambas for a super long time.
Oh, me too. A lot more support than a pair of Converse. I would also say too, if I'm going on like a multiple city day trip, I have like a hanging toiletry bag that I always bring with me. I think some important gear for anybody that like if you're unsure of if you'll have time to shower, like the way I have my hair cut right now, I guess you'd call it like an undercut. And it's kind of like parted to the side. When I wake up, my hair looks crazy, and so I usually bring a little spray bottle with me. So if I don't shower, I can just spray it real quick and comb it, and it looks fine. So I would suggest, or I would recommend to all of our listeners, men and women, I think a good little spray bottle is great. Also, if it's really hot out, you put cold water in that bad boy and spray yourself with it, and it's like super refreshing as well. So I definitely have that with me in the summer. I know that sounds
That's a little
weird, but
a little quirky fact from Chad right there.
Right. I usually always bring, just like you, I usually bring up at least one pair of earbuds. I don't always bring over-the-ear headphones because
I would say I always do.
I guess I don't, just because the pair I have are a little expensive, and if they were to be stolen, like I'm not going to replace them. So
I've had these for years, so
Right.
I'm not that concerned with them.
I actually thought about buying a pair of used older Beats for that purpose, and I may still do that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, mine still sound great.
Oh yeah.
And they just don't look that great.
Right. And looks don't really matter in that case.
Especially when it's perfect. You know, I'm trying to look a little raggedy, so people
There you
are
go.
having less likely to talk to me on the
you go.
airplane.
Gotta have that intimidating look on your face and the raggedy headphones, and nobody's gonna bother you.
So my parents have a friend, and I guess what you could call him, I think the word is alcoholic.
Okay.
And what he does, which is brilliant, is he packs like mini alcohol bottles and puts them in a Ziploc bag, and then so on like long flights, he doesn't buy booze. He just has little mini bottles that he just
Sounds
took
like
through
Bert Kreischer.
TSA. It kind of does. And he, my parents are friends with Bert Kreischer.
Dude, that would be so
and,
awesome. He seems like such a
my
cool
parents-
guy.
He seems like the exact opposite kind of person my parents would ever want to hang out with.
That's fair.
I like him, but I don't think my parents would.
Right.
But it was I've done it once, literally once, and it was literally genius. But I was so embarrassed to even like whip out the bottles. Like I just felt like an alcoholic. You know what I mean?
Oh, who cares?
So there was like an old lady and her daughter next to me, and I was like, I feel bad whipping out this booze and pouring it into my ginger ale on this 3-hour flight.
That's hilarious.
And so like I did, but I was like hiding it when I poured it, and I was like, this is
It's not
stupid.
necessarily
Like,
a bad thing to bring though. Like, since I've been in Europe, whenever we travel, we for sure get beers on the train, or so I totally feel you, man. I understand.
Would that be harder though, to bring your own beers onto a train? I mean, it's easier to do, but will they frown upon that?
Well, yeah, for sure. That's why usually like we'll buy beers. We'll go to the little dining car.
Right. And in the Czech Republic, it's like 30 cents.
Right. Well, 30 crowns, but yeah, little different.
Right.
But
Right.
but yeah. Also, though, if I'm traveling by myself, I will usually bring my traveler guitar with me.
Really?
Oh yeah. If I'm going with friends, I won't, because I don't want to be that guy who's like, all right, I'm going to go back to my room and play my guitar. Like,
So how many days does the trip have to be for you to decide to bring your guitar with you?
I'd say anything over a night trip, even if it's 2 days.
Oh, so if you're going anywhere, that's
I mean, it's a small guitar, so if it's 2 or 3 days, it depends though. I mean, if I'm carrying a lot of stuff in my backpack, I may not bring it. But usually,
So you're probably going to bring it to Polyglot Con, which, by the way, is coming up in like 3 weeks.
oh shoot, I gotta book my tickets for that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, thanks for the reminder, buddy. Always looking out for me. I appreciate it. But yeah,
I'm looking out for myself more than you. but,
right.
I'm looking out for the Untranslatable podcast. Let's put it that way.
One of us needs to, that's for sure. Yeah, I don't know. And for me, like the traveler guitar is just nice because, like, if you're with your friends and there's like a long wait for your train or your bus or your flight, whatever, you can sit and chit chat with them. But if I'm by myself, I can just plug my headphones into my traveler guitar and play it.
Right. You can plug your headphones.
So that's a
you're
game changer.
Yes.
And I usually don't use a pick when I'm like in public and I have the headphones in, so it's even more quiet. It's even quieter.
Yeah. Right.
So that's really nice. A lot of times I will bring my laptop with me. But once again, if I'm only going for like 1 or 2 days and I'm with my friends, I don't always bring it with me. If I'm going by myself, sometimes I will, just so like I can, if I'm feeling lonely, I can easily hop on Facebook and annoy the shit out of Jared.
I thought that was going somewhere,
which is always great.
I thought that was going a total different direction. If I'm feeling lonely, just hop on the no. But
I see where that could have misled you.
I was like, wow,
little.
Chad's just going there. Okay. I never find it necessary to bring my computer. For example, I bring it a lot when I go to Louisiana. Like if I go home, and I rarely use it, and I don't really. I think I'm gonna stop bringing it because I just do stuff on my phone most of the time.
But see, that's why I tend to. I want to bring my laptop so I don't have to do a bunch of stuff on my phone. Like, I have like the Kindle app on my MacBook, so I like to read.
Oh, right.
And
you read. That's right.
Right. I know those
Forgot
nerds, right? And so for me, like I don't have books, like physical books with me, so I'm not going to try to read on my phone screen. Like that's going to be just too much.
Yeah, no, that's awful. Yeah. No, I'm with you on that.
And sadly, my Kindle just actually broke down, so now it's laptop or iPad or no reading for me.
Did you you said your iPad broke too? Did you get
fixed
that fixed?
it? Yep, your homeboy fixed it up.
Okay.
I did a couple things and got it all fixed.
What is something that you always seem to forget?
Usually for some reason, either one of two things will happen. This may sound really stupid, but I will think I packed 3 or 4 pairs of socks, and then I go and then I realize I only packed 2. Or I pack them and I put them in strategic places to save room, and then I get back home and then I realize I had 4 pairs of socks all along. They were
you hit them from yourself.
Yeah, and they were just in different spots in my bag or wherever. That's happened to me a few times.
Socks is a common one for me too, and I haven't forgotten where I put them, but I have done the strategic thing and not remembered if those were clean or dirty.
Oh,
where it's like, is this?
That's fair. See, I used to do the same thing, and so now what I do is I always put my dirty stuff in one spot, so I always know that's the dirty stuff. Because, yeah, the same thing for me. I'd have to do the good old sniff test. Yeah. And so I decided, that's not the life I'm trying to live.
We're adults now.
Right?
We don't have to sniff our dirty socks anymore.
Exactly.
What else? Anything else?
Let's see here. Oh, dude, super important travel gear, pair of sunglasses.
Yep.
Hands down, pair of sunglasses.
I did not have sunglasses this trip because I just got mine stolen.
Right.
And it was a real bummer.
That's rough, dude. I feel for you, man. I didn't bring a pair of shades with me when I went to Carlo Vivari this weekend, and I definitely regretted it as well.
Luckily, my normal glasses are transition.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
But this is not as good as legit sunglasses though.
Mm-hmm.
Another one for me is charger. Always forget the charger.
Oh, really?
Always.
I always bring it. Also, if I would,
I did not forget it this time.
Okay, nice.
But I was also more worried that I'd get stranded in the woods.
Right. That's fair. I would also tell our listeners out there that not only a charger, but a really good small portable battery. Charge that all the way up, because you never know when you're going to need it, whether it's for any of your devices, your phone, if you have a tablet with you. It's definitely saved me a few times when I needed to contact somebody with my phone, and then I realized, oh shoot, I have like 10% battery left. Yeah. And you can get them online for $5, $10, $20. Yeah, very cheap.
Yeah, I did have one of those. Luckily, I didn't have to use it once, but I did have it. And another thing is, this is a plane related one specifically, is I always make sure I have a something long sleeved in my carry on backpack.
Oh, definitely.
Because the temperature on planes is so unpredictable. It can either be like suffocatingly hot or freezing in those things.
I feel like usually once you get up to a certain altitude, it's generally fairly cold.
Yes, yes, and maybe it's so maybe it's like suffocating when you first get on because the plane's not on
exactly,
yet, and there's no air in there.
Yeah, I do the same. I wish we weren't so similar, so we would have more varying opinions to give our audience this episode. But I agree with everything you said, and yeah, I always bring either a windbreaker or a hoodie or a flannel with me. I brought actually a hoodie with me to Carlo Vivari. This was only a day trip as well. I brought a hoodie with me and also like an Adidas, like a zip up. Sadly, not the one you gave me, but a different one. I had to leave the one you gave me at home because that's just too precious. Can't.
Is that an international school one that I gave you? Yeah, I had one of those with me.
Oh, nice.
Although I wore that. Oh no, on the airplane. Yeah. I didn't wear it hiking, but I did wear it on the airplane on the way there.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. I would also tell our audience as well that a good pair of wool socks is always a safe bet to have on you too.
Interesting.
Just because you never know. Like, I don't know if this ever happens to you, Jared, but like maybe you go travel somewhere and it's really cold at night, and like I don't know why, but like my hands and my feet sometimes get cold. Not like the rest of my body, but my hands or my feet, and then like a good pair of wool socks will just, nip that right in the bud.
Well, it's because you have bad circulation, I think.
I'm usually really warm. It's only
I'm the same way though. I have bad circulation or something because my hands are always cold. When it's cold outside, and I would never think to travel. I did this time. Obviously, I had extra wool socks, but because I was going camping and stuff. But I would never think to travel with an extra pair of socks. My first thought would be to travel with an extra pair of underwear in the bag as well.
Oh, for sure.
Just because you never know. You never know when you're going to have an accident.
Right. Oh, for sure. Definitely. I always make sure to definitely have like one, maybe even two pairs of underwear just to be safe. Usually I bring like a pair of basketball shorts or some type of sport shorts, and also like a comfy t-shirt.
Yeah.
Just because, you never know. You could like be eating, I don't know, just eating some food and bite down and it gets all over your shirt. Then you have a backup t-shirt and what have you. Yeah, I would agree. Is there any other travel gear that you would recommend for our listeners out there before we move on to our next segment?
Just a good attitude and a smile.
Oh, that's a great one.
What's your travel entertainment?
Usually just music, either from Spotify, or like if you're traveling on like the buses here in the Czech Republic, you can plug your headphones directly into the monitor and they have music. A lot of airplanes have that as well. And then if I'm on any planes or buses with a monitor, I'll watch a movie or like a television series or something like that. Mm-hmm. What about you?
Mm-hmm. All podcasts. That's really all I listen to. I mean, I'll listen to music sometimes if I'm like falling asleep, but it's mostly podcasts. And I told you about my Tanzania flight where I was listening to podcasts, but I had movies on that with the subtitles on.
Yeah, I do not get that.
But it was stuff like Fast and Furious where it's like, I mean, I get it. I barely have to even read these subtitles to know exactly what's happening in this movie.
For sure. Definitely. That's true.
and so, yeah, I'll do that. But yeah, no, that's really my go-to. Occasionally I'll download stuff from Netflix to my phone.
Nice. Okay.
But I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, I haven't either. But yeah, I think we've definitely given some good different travel gear. And if our listeners out there could shoot us an email at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com or tweet at us at untranslatable1 or hop in our DMs on Instagram. Let us know what some of your favorite travel gear is for different environments.
What can't you not leave your house with whenever you're going on some sort of trip,
right,
or vacation or something,
right? Or maybe better said, without the double negative, what do you need when you travel?
Yes.
For sure.
Thank you, Mr. English teacher.
No problem. Well, Jared, do you happen to know what time it is?
Oh, let's check my watch. Oh, that's weird. I think it's right on time. Wow, that was right on time. The cuckoo clock is never wrong.
Never wrong. That's for sure. Well, Jared, I want to start you off actually with a British phrase.
Okay.
I'm going to try my best British accent here to all of our listeners in England. I apologize if I butcher it. But here it goes, Jared. A few sandwiches short of a picnic.
Is that meaning what's I can't think of the American form of it, but it's kind of saying you're kind of dumb.
Hit that ham horn, my dude.
Well, how would we say that in English? Because we do have a word for that.
Not the brightest candle in the box, maybe, or
Not the brightest bulb in the box.
sure.
But
Something like
there
that.
is like a few. We do have like a few something short of something, but
Right.
it's not sandwiches at a picnic. We have our American version.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know what it is though. Hey, by the way, one thing before I give you my untranslatable, did you drink any Becharovka?
No, dude, we didn't.
Okay, I had it written down on my notes, but since we went aggro this time on our lineup, I forgot to. I didn't even look at it until I saw my untranslatables. No Becharovka.
No, but I have the reason why we didn't drink it is I realized when I was talking to my buddy that we have actually drank it before.
Okay.
So had I have never had it before, I probably would have definitely.
Isn't okay.
But yeah.
Anyway, I just had to ask.
Mm-hmm.
My first one is Croatian,
Okay.
and it's Muda Labudova.
Okay.
Muda Labudova.
Which means?
And it's balls of a swan.
Interesting.
And I'll give you a hint by saying this is what I consider a true untranslatable.
Oh, okay.
So it might be a little tough.
I'm not.
But I'm still going to give you I still want you to
Can
guess.
you give me an example?
I don't know if I fully know how to use it. So PolyglotCon is coming up on October 24th through the 26th, I believe. Don't quote me on that. And Chad, you messaged me saying, Jared, PolyglotCon has offered us $10,000 to speak for about 5 minutes. I'm going to need you to get over here. I know it starts tomorrow, but I'm going to need you to get on a plane and come over here. And I'm going to say, Chad, I don't have balls of a swan. I'm guessing that's how you use it.
So it means
means
it's impossible, right? Like when pigs fly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Nice.
But I don't really see any connection between balls of a swan and something's impossible.
Well,
do swans have testicles?
No. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that would be why.
Are swans males or females? Or can they be both?
I think they can be both, can't they?
So do birds not have testicles?
I'm not really sure how that works. That's a great asking the important questions this episode, Jared. I'm not sure. Well, you know what's ironic is my my untranslatable has to do with geese. Geese, not really
cousins
swans, but
of the swan.
Right. So here we go, Jared. Mine is German for you, and it is Wer weiß, warum die Gänse barfuß gehen?
Who knows why the geese walk barefoot?
Yep.
Where it's like saying there's no explanation for why that happens, it just does.
My man, hit that ham horn. You are on fire. Woo! Basically, yeah, like it is how it is. Like, yeah, there's no explanation. Yeah.
I like that one. I like that. I mean, yeah, there's no reason. Yeah, I don't know. There's no explanation. Yeah, tell me why do geese walk barefoot? I don't know.
Right.
My next one is oops, that almost turned dangerous. I have two computers set up, and my mouse. I meant to pick up the mouse for the computer that has my notes on it, but I did the one that has a recording. And the mouse was just hovering over the record button, and I hit
that couldn't
down
be
the
bad.
button. But luckily, the mouse was turned off, and you have to click it once to turn the mouse back on. and then it's activated. So I just turned it on. So anyway, I'm sure everyone was glad I explained that for
Right.
a whole minute and a half. My next one is French, and it's l'appel de vide.
Which means what?
The call of the void. This one's kind of dark.
Call of the void. Is this like, I don't know, is this just like when you just don't feel, you feel bad and you just, I don't know, go home and curl up and eat a bowl of Ben and Jerry's ice cream?
No. I think you need to take it a little bit more literally.
Committing
for example,
suicide?
Nah, relax.
Well, you said it's dark.
For example, I'll give you an example. When I was in North Carolina the other week, I was hiking up this big mountain, and when I got to the very top, I was just looking over at the edge to this drop to nothing, and for some reason, I had the call of the void.
When you like,
but I did.
Yeah. I think I get it now. Is it kind of like when you're on a really high building and you're looking down and you're like, I wonder what would happen if I jumped?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Oh, for sure. I feel like everybody, for some weird reason, sometimes thinks these thoughts, right? Like, obviously, we know we're probably going to die, but it's like, yeah, I agree with you. Okay.
And yeah, and most likely, I mean, you don't want to jump. Mm-hmm. And it's like, but it's like, I actually, even at one point along the trip, I just ran. I remember saying to Brad, I wonder what would happen if I just pushed you off right here. And he's like, yeah, I'd probably just die.
Right.
Like, yeah, that makes sense. That's a good point.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's probably some human nature going on there.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. I would agree with you. All right, Jared. Well, this one I have for you is Czech. And it is pustit zlavi.
Pustit zlavi.
Yep, pustit zlavi.
Okay. Can you give me
Yes,
a little?
it means like to leave, like to let go of your head, or to like leave out of your head, something like that.
Okay. So it's to chill on your ego, essentially?
Nope.
Check your ego? Okay.
This one means to forget about it, or just to never mind. To like leave it out of your head.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I gotcha. Mm-hmm. This is my last one, and it's Spanish, specifically from Argentina. Mm-hmm. Yo no como vidrio.
Which I don't eat what? What's vidrio?
Glass.
I don't eat glass. So is that like, I don't know, like you have common sense? I have no idea.
I'm going to give that to you. Right. That's actually, it essentially means I wasn't born yesterday, which means I have common sense.
All right, I'll take it. I will take it.
Yeah.
All right.
Good job.
I got one more for you, Jared. It's also Czech.
Yo no como vidrio.
Right. Well, based on the way you've been performing with these untranslatable this episode, I would agree. Okay, so this one is, like I said, it's Czech, and it is bez prace nesu kolache, which means without work you won't get collages, and collages are, or kolache here, are like these sweet pastries that, like, it's kind of like a Danish a little bit.
Okay.
So without work, no Danishes, my man.
Okay. Is that exactly what it means? Mm-hmm. You have to work for the what you want, mm-hmm. for the, like, for anything that's worth getting, you have to work for it, essentially.
What would we say in English?
Work before play. Work hard, play hard.
I was thinking more no pain, no gain.
Okay. Yes.
No pain, no gain.
Yes. The ham horn heavy section. Right.
But yeah, and bez is an important word in Czech because it means without. So if you have any food allergies and you're in the Czech Republic, if you see bez, it could be without dairy, without gluten, whatever. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good to know.
Yes.
Although I'm not allergic to anything, so
Right.
bring it on.
Well, Jared, since we have discussed our untranslatables, I think it's time to give our listeners a tasty new jam to enjoy when this episode drops.
I agree. I think you should introduce it because you know it better than I do. Although I do love it.
Okay.
It's a good song.
So the song that I have chosen for this episode is called Von Mello bis Geschopernau, which means like from Mello, which is a town, I believe, in Austria. Could be also Switzerland, so I'm not 100% sure. Bis Geschopernau, which is also a town in either Austria or Switzerland. It's by HMBC, or I'm pretty sure it's Holzmusik Big Band Club. The like, I don't know, woodwind music big band club.
Holst Uanar Musik.
Okay, something way
Big band
different.
club.
Okay. Either way.
No, Music Big Band Club is right, but it's like Holastar Holst Uanar. I don't know.
My dude, you speak German. What is going on here?
If you were to see this word, you would understand my struggle.
I'm looking it up right now. One moment here. But yeah, so this song I've actually known about for about 3-4 years. Let's see here. Okay, there's also other HMBC abbreviations, so I'm not going to worry about it for now. But yeah, so I've known about this song for about 3 years. It's one of my favorite songs from an Austrian group. I do have to mention, though, they are from Vorarlberg, which is like a neighboring area to Switzerland. So their dialect of Austrian German is much more close to, is much closer to Swiss German than it is Austrian German or like standard German. But it's a great song. It's really, really catchy.
Yeah, I can only pick out like 4 or 5 words from the whole thing.
What's really great, and I think what we should do is we should post the video to our Twitter. That there's actually a video on YouTube where it has the standard German next to the song text by itself, so our listeners out there can actually see the contrast and the difference. But do you actually know what the song's about at all, Jared?
I do not. No.
Well, do you mind if I enlighten you a little
how
bit?
It sounds though. I would really like that.
Okay, so I have the lyrics in front of me right now.
I'll say this
Yes.
though. I did see the music video, and he's clearly not having an easy go in life.
Oh, for sure. I think the music video already says quite a bit about it. But so it starts off, they set the scene by saying, Saturday evening they were at the Egg, and this is, I think it's the name of a bar, actually. A bar,
okay.
a pub. I've basically gotten like wrecked or drunk. I love the way they count.
Oh yeah,
It sounds really cool the way they count. They say like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Glasses were too many, but I can't do anything about it. Right? Like, you know, he's already drank all the beer. There's nothing he can do it.
Right.
One more look at my Rolex watch. And then like, I don't know, I guess I would roughly translate this. Like I notice that, that it's now like midnight. I had good luck. And what, someone saw me. Oh man. Yeah, this is hard to translate. I should have had the standard German next to it, because there's a lot of this, that I definitely don't get either.
Der Guni is apparently. Is that what you're talking about?
That's one part about it.
Der Guni is apparently der Chef des Locals. That says that in
Der Chef des
parentheses
Locals.
on my,
Okay.
Locales. It says that on my translation. Okay. Sagt jetzt geh endlich nach Hause. Ich mach nämlich meinem Laden.
Exactly, yeah. So go home. I'm closing the bar. And then this is the best part about the song, in my opinion, is
des Locals. I get it now.
Yeah. This is probably my favorite part of the song, is the chorus or the refrain, where he says, from Mello to Geschopernau, I've walked, my feet were hurting, and they just repeat that. And then the best part about this, though, is for any of our listeners out there who speak German or know a little about German, usually a W in German is a V sound, right? So it should be wehgetan would be proper German, like my feet hurt. But they say wehtau. So instead of weh, they say weh, like we would in English with our W. And then tau is getan, or like my feet hurt.
Yeah, that's what was wondering what he was saying there.
Yeah, so he's just saying like his feet have been hurting because he's been walking all this time. And the first time
and even just hearing the way, I was like, no one in German would ever say that.
Exactly. And when I first heard this song, I thought he was saying way down.
Oh yeah,
way
yeah.
down,
that
way
makes sense.
down, way down. Yeah, I thought he was saying way down, but his feet hurt. And I love this group because they mix acoustic guitar with their Austrian dialect, which I think sounds really great.
And a lot of horns.
Exactly. And the horns are just great. Like I'm pretty sure they have a tuba player. Yeah. So Jared,
saxophone maybe?
Yeah, I think so as well. If you were to describe kind of at least the vibe you get from this song to our listeners, what would you say?
It's a very sort of like desperate's not the right word, but it's like I'd almost call it like it's almost like their take on like a bluesy kind of song. Like it doesn't sound bluesy, but it like the lyrics give that sort of vibe to it, and the like what he's talking about and how it seems like that's like it's like his Austrian blues that he's singing essentially.
For sure, I think this is a great song. Like when you yourself have had a moment where you're like, oh man, like that.
What am I doing with my life? Kind of
right,
moment.
and you pop the song on there. I also though like to listen to the song just because the chorus is so catchy and it sounds really nice.
Yeah, it is
with the horns and with the chords. I think the song is only 4 or 5 chords if I remember correctly. At one point, I actually learned all the chords and was playing along with it. Yeah, it's a cool song.
At a train station somewhere.
Right, exactly. Or if I need to walk home somewhere and somehow have my traveler guitar with me, you never know.
Sounds like a good way to get robbed.
Right.
Did you know that they broke up in 2017?
What? No.
Yeah.
No.
According to Wikipedia, they did. Yeah.
Bummer. That really makes me sad. They're fantastic.
Yeah, I think they started in 2003.
Okay. Interesting. That makes me sad. That's a bummer.
Sorry.
But, that's okay. But to all our listeners out there, check out our Twitter. We'll have this song up for you. Also, the other thing I love about this song is there's a part where a German comes and they speak proper German, which I think is awesome. If you listen to it, you can very clearly hear where the German is in the song. Excuse me, versus the Austrian German.
Yeah. Yeah, Chad put the German in quotes when he did that.
Yep.
Just so. Yeah. Hey, I think it's time for the teacher to become the student, and I'm asking for my Czech word of the pod.
Yes, sir. Well, I got 2 words for you because.
Okay.
So as I may have mentioned in a previous episode, or if not, I'll mention it now. With Czech, the way you can negate something is you put ne in front of it, ne, right? So you can use that on verbs and nouns, right? So like perliva here means like carbonation, like for your water, right? So if you buy mineral water and you get it with perliva, then it has bubbles. But if it's ne perliva, there are no bubbles.
No bubbles. Okay.
So it makes sense, right? So when I was at the pub with one of my colleagues, we were doing a lot of, I was kind of helping him out with his English. He was helping me out a lot with my Czech. And I asked him how to say, well, how do you say in Czech, I don't know? And so he said, nevím. So nevím in Czech is I don't know. And then if we get rid of that ne, the ne, then it becomes vím, which means I do know or I know.
I like this one. That one's going to get a lot of use too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I guess I guess I'll give our listeners out there a bonus Czech word of the pod. Nerozumím means I do not understand. Nerozumím.
Okay.
And rozumím means I understand.
Okay.
So that's also a good
Okay.
one to know. Any verbs that are for the first person I, well, not any, but from what I've seen, most of them end with an M. So like vím, nevím, rozumím, nerozumím. All have that M ending.
So that's a conjugation
Yes.
thing, probably.
Yes.
Have you had any Czech lessons yet?
Not yet. Hopefully later this week.
Okay.
Later this week. So yes, so I hope.
Well, Chad,
Hezký kluk.
you're hezký kluk.
Thank you, good sir. I appreciate it. Oh darn! There was I was at choir practice earlier, and my mentor said that. Oh shoot! I'll have to ask her again. There's this other Czech word they use to describe, and she said like it's hard to translate, but it might mean like hardworking. But I'll have to ask, and maybe that'll be the next Czech word of the pod. Well, Jared, I've been working really hard on my comedy lately, and I have one joke this pod, and it is a Chad Untranslatable Podcast original. So here we go.
Okay.
We'll see if this sinks or swims. So here we go. What do you call a friendship you make with people when you travel from place to place?
What is it?
A vagabond.
That's a good one.
Yeah? You like that?
Yeah. I'll give you that one.
Right? I don't know why, but I was thinking of...
Vagabond.
I actually think I was listening to Metallica, and there's a song called Wherever I May Roam, and they say the word vagabond, right? And it made me think
Yeah.
of the word bond, like friendship bond. So yeah, that's how
Right.
that joke was born.
Okay.
So there,
Good
so
work.
there you go. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Jared. Well, some of our listeners may have noticed we didn't do any shout outs at the beginning of the pod, and that's because I wanted to make sure we had enough time to discuss all of the different travel gear. But I want to give a few shout outs, put some positive energy out into the universe, as Joe Rogan usually puts it. And I have 3 shout outs today. So my first shout out this is pretty wild, but apparently there was an Ohio University freshman who forgot her professor's name on her paper, or it seems like she forgot to proofread her paper. And have you heard about this yet?
No.
What would you write? Like, I definitely, at least I used to save my college papers under goofy file names. But this girl forgot her professor's name and put something kind of crazy. What do you think she wrote? Like, Professor blah, blah, what would you write?
Douchebag? Was it something stupid like that?
I think it's even funnier. Apparently on the paper it said, Professor What's His Nuts.
Was she was she like gonna go back and change it later?
Yep,
Was her,
and she forgot. Yep.
How does she not know her teacher's name like that?
I don't know, but basically she wrote an email and basically said,
What's his nuts?
I know, right? And she wrote him an email.
I think I'd laugh if I was a
well,
professor.
that's the thing. So my shout out doesn't go to the student, but it goes to the professor. He had apparently a very good sense of humor about it, and he actually changed his Twitter handle to Professor What's His Nuts.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that
That's
is pretty awesome. So shout out to you. And the professor is Professor, I believe it's...
What's his nuts? I heard it.
Exactly. I think his name is, his last name is Hendel. So shout out to Professor Hendel at Ohio University for having a great sense of humor. I think that's so awesome, so hilarious.
You can follow him at Professor What's His
Exactly.
Nuts.
Check him out on Twitter, Professor What's His Nuts. Shoot him a tweet. Let him know how awesome he is for having such a great sense of humor.
Let him know the Untranslatable Podcast sent you.
That's right. Exactly. And my other 2 shout outs, my first one goes to some students in England who crowdfunded to have their custodian fly home to Jamaica to see his family, who he hasn't seen in almost 10 years.
Damn. That's cool.
Yeah, so shout out to those students for raising all that money for Herman Gordon, the name of the custodian, to go home and visit his family. I think that is just such a touching and amazing story.
Yeah, that's great. Man, this is bringing tears to my eyes. This segment of laughter and of joy.
Right, and the last shout out I have is to a celebrity. I couldn't find.
Oh, thanks, Chad.
It's not for you, Jared, unfortunately.
Okay.
But
Bye.
Simon Cowell donated over 32,000.
Simon Cowell.
Yeah, he donated over $32,000 to close down a South Korean dog meat farm.
Oh, good for him.
So, but I was thinking about the shout out a little bit. And like on the one hand, I think that's great because all these dogs will hopefully find a home and live happy lives. However, what my question is what are they going to do to replace the food?
Right. And how is eating a dog theoretically?
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I don't eat dogs. Let me just clarify. But how is eating a dog any worse than eating a cow? Or
right, and that's the thing.
Chicken or a pig.
Exactly. We've been culturally conditioned to eat certain meats in certain countries. So yeah, I agree 100% with you. But I guess shout out to him for being generous with some of his money and
doing what he believes in, because I'm sure he believes in.
Exactly.
He was doing it because he wanted to.
Exactly.
Because he didn't have to do that,
right.
obviously.
Oh, definitely.
But also, what is closing one of them going to do? I mean, there's people eat. Eating dog is, I think, a very common thing in Korea.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, most I would imagine so. Yeah, I would definitely think so. Okay, so those are my shout outs for this episode. But as usual, I want to leave our listeners with a quote to wrap things up. And you actually kind of said this quote a little bit when we were just at the top of the pod discussion, Jared. But my quote is from a guy named, I'm going to butcher his last name, Alexander Solzhenitsyn, who
dat?
Thank you. Who is a Russian writer, poet, and I think a big critic of the former Soviet Union. And the quote that I would like to leave all of our listeners out there with is, let your memory be your travel bag. So if there's any travel gear you can bring with you, I think your most important travel gear is if you have your memory be your travel bag.
For sure. I agree with that. And I mentioned another thing that I think is important that I like to bring is a notebook. Mm-hmm. And I used my flight back to essentially, download everything that happened from the trip as it was still fresh. Mm-hmm. And it was just, and it was, I was like, I need to make sure, especially if I'm going to talk about it, obviously, I don't want to forget what I did. And I don't think I did. But yeah, let your memory be your travel bag. Look at what's around you.
Exactly.
And soak it all in.
Without a doubt. And with that, I would like to thank all of our amazing listeners out there. Please subscribe or follow us on Twitter at Untranslatable1. Check us out on Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast. Shoot us an email. Let us know your favorite travel gear for different environments at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. Or shoot us a message on Facebook. We'd love to hear from you. Also, you can find us Untranslatable Podcast. I think a simple Google search, you ought to be able to find us one way or another. We would love to hear from you. We really appreciate your support, and we will talk to you next time.